My favorite thing to do as a kid was to play with my G.I. Joes. I had more G.I. Joes than any kid on my block. My dad would buy me every single G.I. Joe I could ever want, and I loved him for it. These G.I. Joes represented what my dad was. He was in the military, and he was a real American hero. People used to ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? It was so simple. I knew it. I wanted to be a G.I. Joe just like my dad. But somewhere along the way, I got lost. I was in a dead-end job, struggling with college, and just literally going nowhere in my life. I just remember sitting on break one day and just asking myself, Jeff, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? I forgot those dreams I had as a kid. I forgot those G.I. Joes and how they inspired me. I remembered how those G.I. Joes reflected the amazing role model I had in my father. They were the reason that I grew up strong. And at that point, I knew I needed to make a change. I knew that I had to go back and become that extraordinary G.I. Joe. That's when I realized that a career in the military could get me back on track, to help me regain that strength that I've lost. And I can remember calling my dad and telling him that I was going to be a real life G.I. Joe. And I remember how proud he was of me. He was so proud. It was in that moment that the direction of my life changed. The military gave me a newfound sense of confidence and discipline I'd never had before. And this led me to becoming a financial advisor. I was helping people make smart decisions with their money. I was doing something good. As I started helping more people with their finances, it slowly made me aware of what was going on with my father's finances. Turns out that his life was a financial mess. He was buying stuff on his credit card. He was buying computers, appliances, clothes. You remember those G.I. Joes? Turns out he was buying those on his credit cards too. I can just remember when I finally learned what a financial mess my father's life was. I was devastated. He was giving it all just so he could be a positive role model in my life. But in doing so, he was ruining his financial life. That's when I knew I owed it to myself and to the world to use those skills that my dad taught me to help others. After my father passed away, after he passed away with a long-term struggle with debt, it became clear what my mission was. My mission was to help people, to inspire them, to find peace and to find financial freedom, to have a new control over their money so they didn't have to sacrifice, so they didn't have to struggle. It doesn't matter where you've been or what bad choices you made in the past. All that matters is what you do about it today. The only two things that you need to do to make a difference is to acknowledge that you want more and to take action. That's what this book is about. It's a guide to help you take charge of your money and invest in your future.